Today in Art History. Hello Philippines and hello world! Today is a very special day because we are going to talk about the art of the late 20th and the 21st centuries. Let us all welcome these lovely people and let us hear their apprehensions about the art of this century.
Hi Jeff!
Welcome to the show.
It is a pleasure, Jeff.
The art of the late 20th century has a theme of less is more or less is a bore. This marked a change from modernism to postmodernism art. This theme revolves around the various forms of art during the time period, including those who believe that less is a bore and those who believe that less is more. So, I would like to ask, what are some significant art movements that influenced the late 20th century art?
In the 20th century, there are various art forms that have been established. We have minimalism, which focuses on brutal, geometric shapes, vivid colors, and anonymity. Conceptual art is an art for which the idea or concept behind the work is more important than the finished art object. Installation art is an art form with a three-dimensional visual artwork, often created for a specific place and designed to change the perception of space.
When we are talking about the late 20th century art that started in the 1970s, there are art movements such as New Expressionism, Postmodernism, and New European painting.
That's impressive. What is then Neo Expressionism art?
Well, New Expressionism refers to one of the last international contemporary art movements which emerged among the late 20th century painters during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Now here's the two artworks of George Baselitz, the Elke 6 in 1976 and the Glinner in 1978.
Wow! How about postmodernism and what is in this art movement?
Okay, now what about postmodernism art? Well, postmodernism art focuses on the term high culture often used by art critics when trying to distinguish the high culture of painting and other sculpture and other fine arts from the low popular culture of magazines, televisions, pulp fiction, and other mass-made commodities. Now here's some artworks by some artists for postmodernism art.
Mr. Urbano, can you tell us about New European painting?
This right here is a painting of Eric Fishy for New European painting entitled Bad Boy.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, let's converse to the 2000s and the present, the 21st century. Hi Leia, I've heard that the 21st century art is incredibly dynamic. How's it true?
Yes, Jeff. 21st century art is a burgeoning field of practice, research, and publication, making it an incredibly dynamic field of study. It emerges from a vast variety of materials and means, and this period highlighted the visual art, public and participatory art, digital art, and the evolution of abstract and contemporary art. The 21st century has brought with it a marked shift in our perception of art, taking a multifaceted approach to understanding how images of all types communicate and participate in the construction of identity, gender, class, power relationships, and other social and political meanings and values known as visual culture, which then relates to visual art that are primarily visual in nature. Its current usage includes fine art as well as the applied decorative arts and crafts. Examples of visual art is Nick Cave's relic installation, Christian Jankowski's Vision de la Mostra, and Wim Delvoye's Study 147. Under visual art is the urban art, vidging, and vaporwave. And for the details, Katie?
Thank you, Lei. Yes, Urban art is an art in the form of graffiti and street art that is inspired by the current urban lifestyle that takes place in public spaces. It arose from the typical graffiti and street arts in the neighborhood level, which are characterized by rebellion and expression on social and political events. Today, urban art is now a global art movement and is expanding internationally. The artists involved seek to represent the underrepresented communities, the overlooked, or the controversial issues in the society. The Bowery mural and the gigantic street art mural of Ruth Bader Ginsburg in NYC are examples of this art. VJing is an art in a form of manipulating and mixing of imagery contents through live technological mediation to create visual sequences that synchronize with music. Just like DJing is a selection and manipulation of audio, VJing is also the selection of visuals that is a 21st century art form that originated in clubbing cultures and is now being seen in a wide range of events such as concerts, music festivals, and are also not limited to art galleries. The following are still images of VJ loops from different studios. Vaporwave is a visual art and a subgenre of electronic music in the early 2010s that visually incorporates early internet imagery, 1990s web design, glitch art, anime, and 3D rendered objects and cyberpunk tropes to the artwork, cover, and music videos. Here are some examples of a vaporwave visual art by Vincent Trinidad and Patrick Riscol.
Oh wow, I'm loving those visuals. Thank you so much, ladies. Going on to the public and participatory art. What is it all about?
Public art in the 21st century has expanded even more as a field of activity in which creative investigation can take place. Its distinction from this period was the fact that they included participatory approaches. It's typically art in public spaces and takes a wide range of forms, sizes, and scales. This has been an art that is participatory, in which the social interactions prompted by a work become its content. Often called relational art, the work literally engages the public in some way. Through this, relational aesthetics has developed as a critical theory for analyzing and evaluating such undertakings. Examples of this art is Vanessa B. Croft's VB52 Castello di Rivoli and Karsten Holler's Dice in 2014.
That's marvelous. Engaging the public in some way and make it in an art? Okay, so following is digital art. Can you please elaborate on it?
Digital art describes technological arts with fluid boundaries offering many possible interpretations. It is categorized into object-oriented artworks and process-oriented visuals. We have these key terms that interlink with digital art: digital paintings, digital photography, digital installations, videos, animations, and moving images, internet and network art, and software art. These pictures are Alexandra Gorzinski's mixed image of digital paintings and photo collages, and Andrei Oljazi's digital painting, examples of digital art.
Indeed, digital technology is a great influence on our artworks nowadays. Moving on to our last art movement, the evolution of abstract and contemporary arts. Leia, what can you say about this?
Contemporary abstract art is making a big comeback. It's not just the art market where the masters of abstract art are making a comeback, but also the art practice. It is perceived that contemporary abstract art have a significant place in this period and in the future. Examples of this art is Julie Mereto's Dispersion in 2002 and Congress in 2003, Christian Ross's Papi Chulo in 2013, and Ivan Acuña's Metalscape in 2018, which by the way, a Filipino artist.
Wow! Thank you, Leia! That was astonishing, knowing that abstract and contemporary art has evolved wonderfully. As we come to the end of this episode, let us do Fast Talk. Define late 20th and the 21st century art in one word.
Well, art in late 20th century is a change.
Art in the 21st century is dynamic.
What are the significant art movements in the late 20th century?
Well, if I'm going to answer that question, it will be the Neo-Expressionism, the New European painting, and the most significantly, postmodern art.
What are the notable art movements in the 2000s up to this day?
Visual art, public and participatory art, digital art, and the evolution of abstract and contemporary art were highlighted in the 21st century.
Give one feature of art in the 21st century.
Interactive.
What art movement in the 20th century has made a comeback in the 21st century?
Contemporary abstract art.
What refers to arts during the late 20th and the early 21st century?
Contemporary art refers to art during this period, which broadly includes artworks produced during this time.
And that ends our episode for today. Thank you so much for tuning into Today in Art History.